Namaskar, welcome to the True Hunt. And today's maritime story is about an organization named Rescuing Every Distressed Indian Overseas. And we have got to discuss the organization's CEO. Her name is Mrs. Dhanashree Patil. I'd like to read about her that she has assisted all stranded Indians worldwide in their safe return to India with the help of consulate and Indian embassies. And this organization also works closely with the Ministry of External Affairs. And during the pandemic also, her contribution as a CEO of the organization rescued more than 4,000 Indians from Dubai and brought them back safely to India. And of course, Russia and Ukraine war, everybody is aware of. During that also, the start of that war, she initiated and helped more than 4,800 Indian students from Ukraine in their safe evacuation. And another guest with us is Captain Gajanan Karanjikar, and who deals with the Seafarer wing with the organization as a global advisor. Sir, before beginning this session, recently a book was released by the Honorable External Affairs Minister. The name is Why Bharat Matters. And I would like to read out some lines which are in reference to the book, quoted by an editorial of a newspaper. India seeks to navigate these stormy seas without diluting its focus on becoming a leading power. So it is in a broader context, but yes, it is related to somehow the making this maritime sector a blooming one. And I would like to bring in Mrs. Dhanashree Patil. Ma'am, my first question to you, of course, your organization is doing a commendable work. So could you brief us about the organization working structure and how the Seafarer wings work in this organization to help the distressed seafarers?
First of all, I would like to brief about our organization, that is Redio. Redio means Rescuing Every Distressed Indian Overseas. This is an initiative of movement of positivity under the leadership and guidance of Dr. Dhanashree sir. He is a former ambassador and right now he is a member of National Human Rights Commission. It is commonly misunderstood that people who are staying abroad are very happy, they are earning lot of money and having a fun all time. But there is another side of this story, that even the people living abroad are not even known about this fact. There are a number of problems faced by the fellow Indian community when they are living abroad, especially workers. Sometimes they lose their job and there are cases of harassments and they don't get salary on a time. They want to return back to home, but the employer doesn't provide them the necessary document like a passport. And many students went abroad for the studies and they may face a problem over there, like Ukraine. And to address these issues of our citizens, the worldwide movement started by Dr. Dhanashree sir. It is a radio. Radio is like a caretaker for overseas Indians. And government of India helping through the ICWF in a proactive manner. However, awareness among the government facilities and the relief available, how to contact the Indian mission is poor. Besides, there are things that embassies and consulate cannot do due to the rules and regulation. In such cases, radio is trying to help by building a collaborative network with the people who are already known for their track record for helping others, like Captain Gajanan sir.
My question is related to the Seafarer wing. How the Seafarer wing with this organization is working for the distressed seafarers to help them out.
Thanks for doing this another episode with Maritime Awareness Week. And especially this is the context in the maritime sector. We also have something to help seafarers through the organization called Redio. One thing is very clear, when I heard first time about Redio, I was so impressed because the impression was not because it was an organization under the Ministry of External Affairs and started by one of the very renowned founder of it called Dhanashree, who was a foreign secretary. So, and also the ambassador in many countries. What impressed me was that they were ready to help. And you see what happens in a government perspective. Indians working abroad, they always stand as a liability to the government when something goes wrong with them. Now, you have seen in Ukraine war recently. We have seen also many crises during COVID where the seafarers got stranded and there was nobody to help them. And radio that time, and also on a daily routine basis, there are so many things happening to the Indians overseas, including the seafarers. So I found that little gap in the organization as to though there was no seafarer wing, because again, seafarers are aware of it, and radio also was so busy in helping helping Indian overseas due to this two back-to-back event of Corona and the Ukraine war. So they had no such a machinery to help in Seafarers. So now since I've joined them as global advisor of Seafarers wing, it's very commendable that I get a lot of support from Radio and Seafarers now they know that there is somebody who can help them.
I would like to bring in Dhanashree Patil. Ma'am, I was reading this article. I found some wonderful things, but somehow it is connected to the things, to the happenings globally. And we can see that Indians say is more in the world arena now. So there is a line which I would like to read out before I put up my question. Resources and opportunities provided by external collaboration speed up the natural growth of the domestic economy, but they don't substitute the continuous nurture of deep strength at home, which is important. That's how we are helping our own people. There is an initiative which has been taken, and this is a quote from the recent book of the Honorable Minister of External Affairs, Why Bharat Matters. So, ma'am, how do you see these things, and especially you're working with this rescuing mission for the distressed Indian overseas in the futuristic, the global India in this Amrit Kal? What would you like to say, ma'am?
Organization like a radio plays a very important role when a person or a family of a distressed call us. He obviously in the Indian economy, the seafarer plays a very, very important role. And if we are supporting them and we are work for them, then definitely organization like a radio plays a very important role in this type of missions.
Sir, my same question to you, and I would like to bring in Captain Gajanan Karanjikar. Sir, what would you like to say on this?
It is very important to help our people who are working overseas. Apart from financially strengthening India, I am told by one of the books written by Sanjay Baru, who was a secretary to the ex-Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh. In his one of the books, it was mentioned there, Indian overseas bring in $125 billion in India. Then I did some research on how much Indian seafarers contribute to that. It's more than $7 billion Indian seafarers. So we really need to take care of our diaspora abroad who are financially strengthening India. The radio works towards this because people, when they know that there's somebody to take care of me, you work peacefully. Apart from that, the radio's endeavor has been to educate these people going overseas. So in Seafarers Week, now we are going to publish one book as well as to what a seafarer must check before he embarks onto a contract on a ship. What all his rights are. So that one book, Dhanashree is trying best to publish that book, and that will be a guide to it. We are also looking at having a dialogue through this medium and through Honorable Mr. Moreji on the same issue with the government as to what governments must do. Like Maharashtra government doesn't have data and how many Maharashtrians are outside. I mean, I'm talking about Mumbai. So we were in the process last month to discuss with the Chief Minister's office in Maharashtra as to educate them that this is what happens abroad. Right. I mean, it's not that they're not aware of it, but they are not actively involved. Definitely, our state government, central government has the machinery which want to help the Indian overseas. But radio is actively involved because there is a gap. So we want to bridge that gap, not only doing our work, but also making government understand that they need to work with this issue. And I tell you very frankly, there have been a lot of positive responses from people as well. We are looking at the Seafarers contract. We will start looking at the overseas workers contract. And I want really the organization like Radio should come up and help these people, make them smarter and not come into a distressed position.
Ma'am, my question to you is, the radio helped many families to repatriate mortal remains from Maldives, Saudi Arabia and UAE. So how the networking in this worked and what kind of help you got, the immediate help from the agencies?
In the case of repatriation of mortal remains, we are actively working in the Gulf region and particularly the Maldives. The Maldives is a very small country, but there are so many death cases. Means we are solving from the Maldives. Basically, they are from the labor class people, those who are not getting the good medical facility, the maids, the people who went there to work in a hotel like that. So we are prominently working in that region. We have a good collaboration with the embassy of all these countries, and whenever the incidences like death occurs, the first message come to us. Sometimes the people, the deceased, the person don't have his document when he got admitted in the hospital, and that time some copy in his mobile or maybe his passport is with his employer, and that time the embassy take our help help. They coordinate with us and they ask us to find the address of or contact number of the deceased family, which is in India. In that case, we take a support of the local police, and recently we are able to find out the family's contact number. We are able to reach to family within a 15 to 20 minutes. Once we get a call that someone is expired in a Maldives, and that case was happening in Punjab, and I would like to thank support of the Punjab police and also in Telangana, that they help us to find out the family's contact number, the family's address, and I'm able to speak with that family. And in this all mission, we collaborate with the embassy.
And ma'am, what about Saudi Arabia and UAE? What kind of experience
same,
was
same.
there? I would like to bring in Captain Gajanan Karanjikar. Sir, as we had a session before and we spoke about the organization like ISWAN, FSUI, and NUSI. It is for the understanding purpose that how this particular organization, the radio, is different from these organizations, and what extra mile they are covering in order to help the distressed seafarers in any condition.
These organizations also play a very important role, because you see, this activity, whether to bring mortal remains or rescue a distressed Indian overseas, including seafarer, it's a huge coordination activity. Sometimes I really feel this thing for Dhanashree, because she does it alone at times, coordinating with police station, local police station, foreign embassies, airlines, booking their tickets, and again taking pressure from the family members, because family members won't believe unless they see the body. So in seafarers cases, what I want to do ahead is get the Indian organizations which are representing seafarers and working for seafarers' welfare should coordinate with the Indian government, and radio should coordinate with the foreign, external affairs offices or our embassies abroad. So that way, the efforts will get divided.
Ma'am, my last question to you. Of course, when we travel abroad, there is a passport involved. That document is very important to us. And now various changes has been brought by the Ministry of External Affairs to make it more accurate, and more biometric things have been involved to identify the people for the security reasons, for the terrorism reasons, and there is various other reasons as well. So how that things are helping you?
जैसे आपने बताया कि पासपोर्ट में बहुत सारे एडिशन हो गए हैं, चिप वगैरह, जिसकी वजह से ट्रेस आउट करना
There is an
पॉसिबल है,
improvement in the
जैसे आप
passport.
बता रहे
Yes,
हैं.
yes.
हाँ, ये बेसिकली क्या होता है कि अगर किसी अनऑथराइज्ड एजेंट और कोई भी पर्सन अगर गल्फ जैसी कंट्रीज में जाते हैं, तो जब वो वहां पे काम कर रहे हैं तो उनके पास उनका पासपोर्ट रहता ही नहीं है. हम जिन लोगों को मदद करने की कोशिश करते हैं, उसमें से ऑलमोस्ट 80% और 90% पर्सन उनके पास पासपोर्ट ही नहीं रहता है. तो इस वजह से वो जो ट्रेस आउट करना जो है ना, कि विद द हेल्प ऑफ पासपोर्ट इज अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट टास्क. और अभी तक गवर्नमेंट यही अपील हर बार करता है कि अगर कोई भी जॉब पर्पस के लिए अगर अब्रॉड जा रहे हैं तो वो विजिट वीजा पे ना जाए, क्योंकि अगर विजिट वीजा पे वो जाते हैं तो गवर्नमेंट के पास उसका कोई भी रिकॉर्ड रहता नहीं है. और जिन केसेस में हम लोगों की हेल्प कर रहे हैं, तो वो केसेस ऐसे ही है कि जो इलीगल जाते हैं और वहां पे फंस जाते हैं. तो इसका कोई भी रिकॉर्ड गवर्नमेंट के पास रहता ही नहीं है किसी भी केस में. और अगर गवर्नमेंट के पास उनका रिकॉर्ड ही नहीं है, तो उन्हें हेल्प गवर्नमेंट जरूर करती है, लेकिन उसमें कुछ उन्हें लिमिटेशन आ जाते हैं. तो ऐसे केसेस में ये जो सिस्टम हम बात कर रहे हैं, जो वैल्यू एडेड जो टेक्नोलॉजी आई है, तो अभी तक नहीं, लेकिन फ्यूचर में जरूर इसका हमें और सारे लोगों को उसका हेल्प होगा.
सर, आखिरी सवाल है ऑफ कोर्स मेरा. रेडियो तो एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अपने लेवल पे वर्क कर रहा है फॉर डिस्ट्रेस इंडियंस ओवरसीज एंड ब्रिंगिंग देम बैक एंड हेल्पिंग देम इन एवरी सिनेरियो, वेदर दे आर इलीगल इमिग्रेंट्स, वो फंस गए हैं किसी भी चीज से, पैसे नहीं है, बीमार हैं, और किसी की डेथ हो गई है, उनकी बॉडीज को लाना है, काफी चीजों पे मदद कर रहा है. सर, ऐसे में जो आप एक सीफेरर की विंग को, यू आर सपोर्टिंग दैट विंग, तो सर वी कुड से दैट इट इज अ कंट्रीब्यूशन इन मैरीटाइम विजन 2030 also.
Yes, you see, the Indian government, as I told you, $7 billion are being brought by Indian seafarers, and I had highlighted this point in my speech at the Global Maritime India Summit also. Indian government has taken a very good notice of this, what the foreign exchange or how Indian seafarers are helping to build national economy. And in Maritime 2030 vision, and also the vision which is coming now, 2047 Maritime India vision, so that also has got this permanent point of seafarers. I understand from DG Shipping, Mr. Shyamji Jagannathan, that the entire e-migrate system for seafarers which is being used is being changed completely. We have today seafarers joining not only with CDC and passport, they have something else called as Seafarers Identity Document, SID. And SID is basically biometrics. But just to answer the question that you asked before I'm answering, or Dhanashree, the technological things are already there or coming up in passport region also. Yes. But we are a very funny country because we have find a lot of loopholes in that. Like she rightly said, people join on visit visa. You also have noticed since you have worked abroad, people join on visit visa, start working in restaurants, start working in here and there. They get cheated and then they call us or they call the Indian government, please save us now. We are in distress. So Indian government really has to make that robust structure and make it work. China, for example, you cannot go abroad unless you go to a local police station and apply for it. And local police station has to every time give you your passport. All the Chinese citizen passports are kept in local police stations. They also have same population as us. We can't do this system. In Singapore, the passport has a chip, and Singapore, every citizen has been told, keep your passport on your body. Passport has to be on the body means you either put in your pocket, shirt, inside the shirt. It has to be on your body. So they have a chip inside. They can track the citizen. At any point in time, if you ask the Singapore government, how many citizens are working abroad, they will give you figures in all 8 digits perfectly. You ask our Indian government, we don't have a data. So we are a very data poor country. They are trying to do this system now. There was the ECR, NECR clearances earlier were there, but now they have all been abolished to make people fly frequently, have opportunities abroad. But people also have to realize that they have to register on a portal, inform, have their rights and do's and don'ts, pros and cons of employment abroad, check before boarding. Not just that, because okay to board system also is there. Everything we have, but again, we have a lot of loopholes in that. I'm sure, at least DG Shipping is doing its best to close these loopholes, and of course, the Indian government is working day and night on this as to how do you stop the invasion into a system what they are trying to implement.
Or sir, I can take from your words that one thing is doable. Of course, our governments are more superior and more intelligent to take the further calls, that any Indian going abroad should be registering first of all with the Indian consulate or the Indian mission abroad. That should be a mandatory thing to have easily traceable where they are, whether they are on a visit visa or on a work visa. That is doable. And thank you so much, both of you.